Hello and welcome. You're watching the news. I'm Gargi Rawat. Coming up ahead is the government planning a name change from India to Bharat. We'll get you all the buzz. The opposition has reacted strongly. Also, the World Cup squad has been announced and NDTV launched its Rajasthan channel. All that and more coming up. Let's take a look at the headlines. After invites for the president's G20 dinner say President of Bharat, frenzied speculation over whether the government intends to change the country's name to Bharat. In the special session of Parliament, the opposition holds a series of meetings. The BCCI announces a 15-member squad for the ODI World Cup 2023. KL Rahul, Shreyas Iyer make the cut, while Sanju Samson, Yuzvendra Chahal and Tilak Verma are left out. Prime Minister Modi to make a quick visit to Indonesia tomorrow for the India-ASEAN summit, where leaders will review their relations in areas ranging from maritime security to the digital economy. After Kota and Rajasthan reported the highest number of suicides in a decade, the district administration has begun an interface with all stakeholders, coaching institutes, hostel owners and students to make Kota less stressful. The wealthiest Ganpati Bappa in Mumbai, the GSB Seva Mandal takes an insurance cover of 360 crore ahead of the Ganpati festival. And NDTV launches another channel, this time in Rajasthan. Chief Minister Ashok Gehlot attends the inauguration, says the BJP has no idea who they're up against on being asked how he's dealing with the challenge.
ये बात राजस्थान और राजस्थानियों की है, भरोसे की, उसी विरासत के साथ।
आइए बुलाते हैं अपने एडिटर इन चीफ संजय पगोलिया को स्टेज पर। आइए मुख्यमंत्री अशोक गहलोत को आमंत्रित करेंगे। आइए।
एनडीटीवी राजस्थान, अब राजस्थान की धरती से।
आई एम श्योर कि आपने अपने इंटरनल सर्वे फीडबैक सब कुछ कराया होगा, और एक वो फलोदी का भी एक बैरोमीटर होता है सट्टा बाजार वाला, तो उसकी भी कुछ खबर होगी आपके पास। तो अगर आप ये बता सकें कि कितनी सीटों का अनुमान है।
मिशन 156 मतलब हमारा टारगेट 156 है। वही टारगेट था जो 98 में मैं मुख्यमंत्री बना, तब हम लोग 156 जीत के आए थे। एक
मेरा सुझाव है 157 या 155 बोल सकते हैं क्या, क्योंकि 56 पर किसी और का कॉपीराइट है। ये जो कहा आपने कि सरकार जहां ये जीतती है बीजेपी, वहाँ तो मिस्टर मोदी और मिस्टर शाह ज़रूर बनाते हैं, जहाँ हारती है वहाँ ज़रूर बनाते हैं, मतलब वहाँ तो पक्का ही बनाते हैं जहाँ हार जाते हैं। यहाँ पहली बार हुआ कि राजस्थान में ये प्लान बीजेपी का फेल हो गया। इसका रिटेलिएशन तो होगा, आपसे इसका बदला लिया जाएगा, क्योंकि आपने इनकी योजना फ्लॉप कर दी।
उनको मालूम होना चाहिए कि पाला किसे पड़ रहा है।
चेहरे मुखौटे हैं, मुखौटे ही तो चेहरे हैं, चेहरे ही मुखौटे हैं, मुखौटे ही तो चेहरे हैं। अंदर का राम जला दिया, कैसे उल्टे पड़े दशहरे हैं। अपनी ही आवाज़ सुन ना पाए, हम पूर्ण रूप से बहरे हैं। मन की नदी उफान पा ना सकी, हम दिखते कितने गहरे हैं। ये मुखौटे कोई उतार ना ले, लगा दिए लाखों पहरे हैं। चेहरे मुखौटे हैं, मुखौटे ही तो चेहरे हैं।
All right, so you heard what the Chief Minister said at the launch event. Let's listen into now what CP Joshi said at the NDTV Rajasthan launch event when asked about who's the Chief Ministerial face for the BJP.
अशोक गहलोत ही चेहरा है, तो आपका चेहरा कौन होगा, ये भी तो लोग पूछ रहे हैं।
हमारा चेहरा कमल का फूल है, नरेंद्र मोदी जी हैं। देखिए, बड़े अंतर दो हैं। एक तरफ एक परिवार से पार्टी चलती है, यहाँ एक चाय बनाने वाला भी और सीपी जोशी जैसा सामान्य कार्यकर्ता जो एक किसान परिवार में जन्म लेने वाला, वो पार्टी का प्रदेश अध्यक्ष बन सकता है, या और किसी पॉलिटिकल पार्टी में संबंध नहीं है। तो यहाँ किसी भी विचार के आधार पर काम होता है, संगठन के आधार पर काम होता है। और अगर बनने के बाद कोई व्यक्ति ये कहे कि मैं ही सब कुछ, तो फिर नेशन फर्स्ट और विचार के आधार पर काम करने का जो अंतर है, पार्टी विद द डिफरेंस है, वो इसीलिए भारतीय जनता पार्टी में दिखाई देता है।
All right, moving on to the other big story today, a shift from India to Bharat on President Draupadi Murmu's G20 invitations to foreign leaders has triggered a huge row, with the opposition accusing the ruling BJP of rebranding the nation over political one-upmanship. For the first time, official invites to heads of state for a dinner on September 9th in Delhi are from the President of Bharat instead of the traditional President of India. This has given rise to speculation that the government may seal the name change in Parliament during the 5-day special session from September 18th. Let's take a look at some of the reactions.
देश में इस सारे हम जो कहते हैं कि हमको दासत्व की मानसिकता से बाहर आना है, कॉलोनियल माइंडसेट से बाहर आना है, यह उसके लिए सबसे बड़ा स्टेटमेंट है।
ইন্ডিয়ার নামটা নামে সারা বিশ্ব চেনে, হঠাৎ এমন কি হলো আজকে দেশের নামটাও চেঞ্জ হয়ে যাবে?
ऐसा कहा जा रहा है, इसलिए किया जा रहा है क्योंकि इंडिया नाम का कई सारी पार्टियों का एक अलायंस बना है जिसका नाम इंडिया है। कल मान लीजिए इस इंडिया अलायंस ने अपना नाम बदल के भारत रख लिया, तो फिर भारत भी बदल देंगे, फिर क्या भारत का नाम बीजेपी रखेंगे?
If you want to start calling India as Bharat, have you consulted with the states? Have you discussed it in Parliament?
जो नामकरण जो गठबंधन का हुआ है, इससे इतने ये लोग डरे हुए हैं कि नाम जो है बदल रहे हैं। बताइए, अब इंडिया नाम लेने में भी कतरा रहे हैं। किस बात का डर है भाई? वी आर प्राउड टू बी इंडियन। हमें गर्व है कि हम भारत के लोग हैं।
Well, let's go across to Maratha now for more on this story. And Maratha, that invitation from the president has created a lot of speculation, a lot of reactions from the opposition. And since we don't know what the special session of parliament, no business has been announced for it, that's why more speculation is taking place. But what do we really know about this, rumor of a name change?
Well, I think this is for the first time an official invitation that has come from the president or any top functionary of the country which says that president of Bharat. So, the phrase Bharat has been used instead of India. One may say what's in a name, Gargi, but in an election year, everything is in a name. Because if India becomes the, unifying term for the, parties which form the alliance in opposition, the BJP knows that they have to come up with something that can counter that India word. They also understand that there is a potential of some kind of buzz that can be created around India. But they also know that because of the name change that they have carried out in the past, in which they have said that the colonial past of India has to be shed, we have seen that Rajpath being named as Kartavya Path, then why not the entire phrase of India, which is again a reflection, according to the BJP, of the colonial history of India. So the push that is coming in now is of Bharat. We have seen clear division or stark, reaction coming from both the sides. The government ministers and party MPs, all of them are saying that this is some kind of an issue being created out of nothing because the opposition is looking for an issue to target the government. The opposition parties from the Aam Aadmi Party to the Congress and others, the DMK as well, saying that is the BJP really rattled with the phrase that is India, which has had 4 rounds of meetings already. But the larger question, will there be a formal resolution that will be moved in the upcoming special session? Well, for the moment, the buzz certainly is that there is a possibility that a resolution could come up. This is also coming in the backdrop of what was said by RSS Supremo Mohan Bhagwat just 2 days back, where he said that Bharat should be used more frequently in the name instead of India.
All right, Maratha, thanks so much for joining us. With that, some more speculation on what is planned for that special session of Parliament. Well, as Maratha said, a lot of buzz about the name change from India to Bharat, and this has sparked a flurry of meetings as well in the opposition camp. A meeting of the Congress parliamentary leaders took place earlier at the house of Sonia Gandhi. There's also a meeting underway of the opposition bloc India leaders at the residence of party chief Mallikarjun Kharge. Let's listen into what Gaurav Gogoi said after the Congress meet.
अब बात रह गई सरकार की, क्या वो बताएंगे कि किन मुद्दों पर विचार होगा, क्या वो अपना एजेंडा बताएंगे, कब बताएंगे। तो ये बातें आज हमने कुछ अपने पार्टी के अंदर इस पर हमने विचार किया और शाम को आदरणीय खड़गे साहब जी के निवास पर इस पे और गहराई से अपने साथी इंडिया अलायंस के दलों के साथ विचार करेंगे। धन्यवाद।
In other news now, ahead of the G20 meet this weekend, Prime Minister Modi is headed to Jakarta for the ASEAN summit. The Prime Minister will seek to strengthen ties with the ASEAN nations, Vietnam, Philippines, Malaysia and Brunei, who are often engaged in territorial standoffs with China in the South China Sea.
A busy week for the Prime Minister, who's set to travel first to Indonesia for the India-ASEAN summit and the East Asia summit before he returns 24 hours later for the G20 summit and bilateral meetings with the world's top leaders. Mr. Modi, who's been invited by Indonesia's President Joko Widodo, will be in Indonesia on the 6th and 7th and focus on building ties with the ASEAN bloc. India-ASEAN ties are already at the comprehensive strategic partnership level. The India-ASEAN summit will review progress of ties and chart a future direction of cooperation. The East Asia Summit will see India and 8 dialogue partners exchange views on regional and global issues.
At the invitation of the President of the Republic of Indonesia, Mr. Joko Widodo, Prime Minister will visit Jakarta for the 20th ASEAN-India Summit and the 18th East Asia Summit, scheduled for the 7th of September. Both the summits had been kept for the 7th, so as to facilitate Prime Minister coming back early. The Indonesian side was kind enough to advance the East Asia Summit timing a little bit so that Prime Minister could come back early.
Significantly, China's President Xi Jinping will not be attending the meet. Beijing will be represented by Chinese Premier Li Qiang. President Xi will also be absent for the G20 summit in Delhi. Vishnu Shom for NDTV.
As the battle for Madhya Pradesh heats up, the BJP is taking out Yatras, a mass contact program from 5 different places in Madhya Pradesh where the assembly polls are due this year-end. Union Home Minister Amit Shah took a swipe at the previous Congress government in the state, accusing it of doing corruption during its tenure under former Chief Minister Kamal Nath. The BJP's Yatras in Madhya Pradesh will culminate on the 25th of September in the state capital Bhopal with a Karyakarta Mahakumbh.
भाइयों और बहनों, आप लोगों ने कमलनाथ की सरकार यहां देखी है। 51 से ज्यादा गरीब कल्याण की योजनाओं को एक करप्शन नाथ ने बंद कर दिया था। सीएमओ मनी कलेक्शन का ऑफिस बन गया था। कांग्रेस की वर्किंग कमेटी करप्शन वर्किंग कमेटी बन गई थी और 800 से ज्यादा ट्रांसफर हो गए थे। मित्रों, एक कमलनाथ सरकार ने भ्रष्टाचार के सारे रिकॉर्ड तोड़े और मोदी जी ने, शिवराज जी ने मध्य प्रदेश को विकसित राज्य बनाने का काम किया है।
In other news, the Editors Guild of India issued a statement after FIRs were filed against members of the Guild. The Guild in its statement has said that it's disturbed by the registration of FIRs by the Manipur police against the president of the Guild as well as members of the fact-finding team that visited Manipur to study and document media's coverage of ethnic clashes in the state. The Guild also stated that it was shocked by the intimidatory statements made by Chief Minister of Manipur, N. Biren Singh, in response to the report. The Guild says rather than respond to the concerns raised in the report in a meaningful way, the state government has registered FIRs. The Supreme Court has wrapped up its hearing over Article 370 and reserved its judgment. For 16 days, the top court heard arguments from both sides on whether Article 370 was transitional and whether the President of India could have abrogated it without an elected state government in place. The court's decision could also indicate when Jammu and Kashmir will get back its statehood.
We have heard arguments, judgment is reserved. Any further submissions and rejoinder may be submitted within a period of 3 days.
After 16 days of regular hearings, the Supreme Court has finally wrapped up the Article 370 case and has reserved its judgment. A big focus of the arguments from both sides was this. If Article 370 was transitional, then whether the President of India could have abrogated it without the concurrence of Jammu and Kashmir's elected government. Under 370, Jammu and Kashmir enjoyed special status for 70 years.
And it should not be that acts are done when a part of the people of India are silent, who have never been consulted, and whose fate will be decided by the cabinet sitting here without reference to parliament, without reference to legislature, without reference to the people. Because people are central to the Constitution of India.
While the centre concluded its arguments on Monday, Solicitor General Tushar Mehta again questioned the credentials of lead petitioner Mohammad Akbar Lone, the National Conference MP, who is accused of raising pro-Pakistan slogans inside the Jammu and Kashmir Assembly in 2018. Lone has filed an affidavit stating allegiance to the Constitution of India and that Jammu and Kashmir is an integral part of India. While the court accepted the affidavit, the centre's top officer was not satisfied.
Lord, it says, I am a responsible and dutiful citizen. I have exercised my right to approach this court. I reiterate the oath taken while being sworn in as a member of parliament. But this is not rebuttal, but this is adding insult to injury to the nation. Kindly, my lord, say something about it. I leave it at that.
Thank you very
much. Your lordships may read what is not written. Your lordships may read what is not written.
Earlier during the arguments, the centre's top lawyers defended the scrapping of Article 370 and the reorganization of Jammu and Kashmir Act, under which the former state was divided into two union territories.
During 16-day-long hearing, there were strong arguments about instrument of accession, J&K's unique relationship with the Union of India, making and unmaking of Article 370. The 5-judge Constitutional Bench has reserved judgment which will decide whether Jammu and Kashmir will get back to statehood and special status or court will uphold Central's decision on August 5, 2019. In Srinagar, Nazir Masoodi, NDTV.
Quota politics heating up again in Maharashtra. NCP chief has demanded that the quota cap be raised in Maharashtra, putting the Shinde government in a tight spot. Here's a report.
A big dilemma for the Eknath Shinde government in Maharashtra after days of protests by the Maratha community that has been demanding reservations in government jobs and educational institutions. The opposition has supported the protesters, with NCP President Sharad Pawar demanding that the centre remove the 50% cap on quotas and raise it by 15 to 16% to accommodate more communities.
The politically dominant Maratha community is nearly 33% of state's population and is identified as a community with large land holdings and political heft. However, their demand for Maratha reservation is not new and is going on for decades.
In November 2018, the Maharashtra Assembly passed a bill proposing 16% reservation in education and government jobs for the Maratha community. Devendra Fadnavis was the chief minister then. In June 2019, the High Court upheld the reservation but asked the government to reduce it from 16% as recommended by the State Backward Classes Commission. But in May 2021, when Uddhav Thackeray was chief minister, the Apex Court held that the Maratha reservation was unconstitutional and struck it down. For the Shinde government, it's a tightrope walk. Any fresh move on Maratha reservations may upset other OBC communities.
हमारे यहाँ जो संविधान की चौकट में जो हम मदद कर सकते हैं, कानून के दायरे में मराठा भाई बहनों के साथ खड़ा रहने के लिए जो हम कर सकते हैं, हम बड़े गंभीरता से करेंगे.
How soon is the big question. With Sohit Mishra, Bureau Report, NDTV.
Now for our special report on student suicides. And after Kota reported the highest number of suicides in a decade, the district administration has begun an interface with all stakeholders. They're speaking to coaching institutes, hostel owners and students to make Kota a less stressful and happier place to be in.
Kota, known for its coaching institutes and the highest number of students who make it to the IITs and medical colleges in the country, also has a darker side to its success story. The recent spate of suicides that has the administration worried. And now a new initiative to help children studying here. Staff in student hostels in the city will be given training so that they can double up as counselors as well and spot any sign of distress in students.
लगभग जो 3,500 हॉस्टल है और जिसमें कि 2 लाख के लगभग बच्चे निवास कर रहे हैं, उनको प्रोफेशनलिज्म के माध्यम से ट्रेन करना आवश्यक है ताकि बच्चों के साथ में वो अच्छा इंटरेक्शन कर सके, बच्चों के साथ अच्छा व्यवहार कर सके और बच्चों को किस प्रकार से कैंपस में एक फ्रेंडली वातावरण दे सकते हैं.
There are over 2 lakh students in Kota enrolled at a time in the city's various coaching institutes, many of them between the ages of 15 and 18. Some of them miss home food, others simply the presence of loving family elders.
देखा जाए तो हॉस्टल में रहने की तो परेशानी मतलब थोड़ी खाने की दिक्कत होती है, मतलब खाने पे तो हो जाती है, मतलब खाना तो वैसे ही होता है.
The district administration has also passed an order that anti-hanging devices will be put in fans in hostel rooms. There will also be no tests for 2 months for students at coaching institutes to address the stress students have to undergo.
एक स्टाफ जो होता है वो स्किल स्टाफ होना चाहिए. हमारा एक ही उद्देश्य है कि हम लोग हॉस्टल में जा के हम लोग ट्रेनिंग दे रहे हैं स्टाफ को और उनको बता रहे हैं कि आप लंच और जो डिनर होता है उस टाइम पे आप अटेंडेंस लीजिए बच्चों की.
सर उनका कहना यही तो है चीज़ के लिए कि मेन जो प्रोग्राम हो रहा है, टेस्ट की जो प्रोग्राम चल रही है, टेस्ट नहीं लेना चाहिए. टेस्ट पे होना जरूरी है. टेस्ट नहीं लो तो कैसे चलेगा काम? बच्चा अपना कैसे प्रोग्राम आगे जाके बढ़ाता जाएगा. जैसे हम हॉस्टल की बात करें तो हॉस्टल में बच्चों को अच्छे से अच्छे खाना वगैरह, फूड क्वालिटी वैरायटी पूरा मेंटेन करना भी बहुत ज़रूरी है.
And as Kota goes forward with a Smile campaign, there is hope that some kind of a mechanism can be evolved to end stress that leads to suicides. With Shakir Ali in Kota, Harsha Kumari Singh, NDTV.
Cricket now. An India squad for the World Cup was announced by the BCCI today. Sanju Samson, Tilak Verma were left out. The board made a bold case in giving wicketkeeper batter KL Rahul the nod.
Rohit Sharma captain, Shubman Gill, Virat Kohli, Shreyas Iyer, Ishan Kishan, KL Rahul.
These are the top 15 who will don the blue jersey and fight for the ICC ODI Cricket World Cup 2023. The tournament is back in India after 2011. This is the first time that India is hosting the tournament entirely. A big responsibility accompanied with the pressure of lifting the trophy for the 3rd time in history. Pressure that even made Team India captain snap at journalists today when he was asked about the perception of India participating in world tournaments.
पहली बात मैं कितनी बार बोल चुका हूँ ये चीज, बाहर क्या होता है हम लोगों को सिर्फ नहीं फर्क पड़ता है यार, क्योंकि हमारा काम कुछ और है. हमारा काम ये नहीं है कि बाहर का माहौल देखो, बाहर के माहौल के हिसाब से खेलो. सारे लड़के प्रोफेशनल हैं, सारे लड़के जो टीम में है वो ये सब चीजें उन्होंने देख चुके हैं. क्योंकि इट डजंट मेक सेंस टू कीप टॉकिंग अबाउट इट बिकॉज आवर फोकस इज समथिंग एल्स एंड वी वुड लाइक टू एज अ टीम फोकस ऑन that particular thing.
Chief Selector Ajit Agarkar had said while announcing the Asia Cup squad a month ago that the World Cup squad will closely resemble the roster of players in the Asia Cup campaign. The Indian captain justified the exclusion of Yuzvendra Chahal from the squad and argued that the team needed bowlers who could bat, especially at the back end. India's effort to host the World Cup has also been marred by controversy over ticket sales.